Hello everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, and I have a lot of new visitors since I posted my Adam the Woo news story yesterday, hopefully he will be let back into Universal Studios Orlando sooner rather than later. Well, welcome to the channel. I usually do rants and news on things like anime, movie, comics, and video games. That's typically what I do, and I do some YouTube commentary once in a while on things going on in the community. That's why I talked about Adam yesterday, but at the moment there's no YouTube commentary, so hopefully you'll stick around for this other content. And today's story is that Ghost in the Shell, the live-action movie, is set to lose about $60 million or even maybe $100 million, because according to Anime News Network, Anime's new website, Deadline, reported on Wednesday that Paramount Pictures' live-action Ghost in the Shell film is tracking with a $60 million loss. While the movie's stated budget is $110 million US, Deadline said some sources claim the actual cost to make the film was more aligned with about $180 million. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call Hollywood accounting. At least that's one of the examples of Hollywood accounting. Deadline said that the estimate of the $60 million loss is based on an estimated total earnings of $200 million for the film, $50 million domestically, and $150 million internationally, with a combined print and advertising and production cost of the film being around $250 million. Now, of course, this film has so far underperformed at the box office, and I can kind of understand why. For the record, I don't think it's because of whitewashing. I think that was a controversy that got blown way out of proportion. I don't think anyone would have went to see the movie even had that controversy not existed. Now, and I don't think it didn't make money because the movie wasn't good, although I definitely didn't like it, and I'll have a link to my print review below because I am a film critic. That is my day job, actually. I do the YouTube thing on the side, and I write for a living. I know, there are actually people who do that these days still. But I think the reason Ghost in the Shell is on track to lose this money and to not make it back is because I think, here's the thing, you know, Beauty and the Beast opened a couple weeks ago. I'm not saying it lost money because of Beauty and the Beast, but when people remake an animated Disney movie, it's kind of interesting because while Disney movies have been embraced by people of all ages for so many years, there's still a stigma with animation that it's for kids. So when you take Cinderella or Jungle Book or Beauty and the Beast and you make it into live action, even if it's really no more adult than the cartoon was, people still sense, oh, but it's made for older audiences now. I can watch this and I don't have to be ashamed to admit I watch it. And that's why these animated live action Disney movies, or I'm sorry, these animated Disney movies that are remade into live action do so well and people aren't afraid to talk about it. But Ghost in the Shell is a little different because anime is embraced largely by adults and teenagers, and they're frankly not impressed when you remake it into a live action movie. They're kind of like, but we like the anime, we like the visuals, that was one of the things that drew us to it, and why would we want to see it live action? Now, I'm not saying all of these anime movies are bad, or all these adaptations are bad, I should say. I actually like Speed Racer. I think the Speed Racer movie is actually much better than the TV show, and actually, to be perfectly honest, that's the only live action adaptation of an anime I can think of that I really like. Oh, I also liked Astro Boy. I like the American Astro Boy movie. Granted, that is animated, so how different is it really? But for the most part, you know, when you see like Dragon Ball Evolution or Ghost in the Shell, you would just rather watch it animated. The animation in all this is part of the reason you're seeing it. It's part of what made the movie unique. And of course, there's the other aspect where it's like, it's going to be hard to have Ghost in the Shell fans recommend this to other Ghost in the Shell fans because the third act, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the third act is different in a way where it's obvious that they're trying to kickstart a franchise rather than do the philosophical questions that the first movie did. So that can be a little frustrating too. Now, whether or not it deserves to lose that money, that's always kind of a tough question. I don't know what movie actually deserves to make or lose money these days. It's kind of, I think that's kind of an irrelevant question. It's whether or not people want to see it or not. And I do not root for these movies to fail or succeed. Well, I hope they succeed if they're good, but if they fail, I'm not rooting for it, even if I didn't particularly care for it. One thing that's pretty obvious that we will not be getting a sequel to this. I don't know if we're going to be getting any more anime adaptations for the big screen. I mean, I would, on one hand, I would really like to see a good live action anime adaptation. It's a shame that Death Note is going to Netflix because maybe that could have broke the curse. On the other hand, the fact that Death Note is going to Netflix maybe maybe more people will be willing to give it a chance, since technically it's going to be free. It's just part of the subscription. And if that's successful, then maybe we will get more in theaters. And hopefully the Death Note movie will be good to boot. So to all the people who made the live-action Ghost in the Shell, I'm sorry it didn't work out. I didn't particularly like the movie, but you know what? I could tell you tried. The look of the movie was as close to the animated movie as you could possibly get. And I personally think Scarlett Johansson was a good casting choice. A very good casting choice. I do think it's kind of strange that she talks with that Japanese head guy, and she's always speaking in English and he's always speaking Japanese. That always bothers me. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But you know what? For the most part, it wasn't a horrible movie. I don't think it was very good in the long run, mainly because of that third act. But I know that the whitewashing controversy probably at least affected the reviews. I don't know if it actually affected the box office though, but you know, that's another story. So I'm sorry you guys are going to lose that kind of money. That's a shame. But you know what? You guys will pick yourself up and you'll make more movies, and hopefully those ones will be better and they will be successful. Anyway, what do you folks think? Have you seen Ghost in the Shell? Are you going to see Ghost in the Shell? Because you know what? Even though it had a poor first weekend, that doesn't mean it can't turn around a little bit. It could still pick up through word of mouth, although that seems unlikely. But I'd like to know, comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.